Get in, buckle up, and come for a ride with the Hoonatics. Cars, bikes, and anything else with an engine in it. Let's go.
A Snap-on franchise is a tool to your freedom, and we currently have franchise opportunities available across Australia. Snap-on have the best brands in the industry, a supportive network with exclusive training, as well as financing options to get you on the road. Are you ready to drive your own success? Visit snaponfranchises.com.au or call 1800 762 766 for more information.
Around Australia, as we all sit in social distancing lockdown. And welcome to the Hoonatics, guys. My name's Jason, and joining me, as always, the man with one eyebrow, Mark Boxer. Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I've got a stapler, but I'm not close enough to staple your mouth shut.
And joining us, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, a big round of applause. He's the 1 ton of fun who can kick a ton from the goals and spin spanners like nobody ever knows. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from Port Power, Charlie Dixon. Hello, Charlie.
Guys, thanks for having me. What an intro. Wow.
I was going to do the Mad Max one, you know, the Ayatollah of AFL rock and roll up. I thought, no, I better not do that one. How you going, mate?
Yeah, really good. I'm going home in considering the circumstances. You know, I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent. Well, I think we are all sporting lockdown beards, are we?
Yes, I think so. And lockdown hair as well. I've just sort of had a friend.
I shaved yesterday.
I don't know if I'm happy about it or not.
Mark, you said you shaved. Which part of your body did you shave?
I can't do this as a family chat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Charlie, it's great to have you along, mate. You're a South Aussie now via Queensland, obviously, and you're here. You're obviously playing for one of the big AFL teams in town, but that's actually not what we've got you on for. We'll talk a bit about footy as the podcast goes on, but we are obviously the Hoonatics. We are connected to all things spanners, nuts, and bolts. And mate, you're a bit of a gearhead, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I've got a few cars now, and I sort of just try my best. I don't know a whole lot, but I'm learning as I sort of go. And but yeah, I've got about six cars at the moment. So
6 cars. All right, go on. Roll them through. What do you got? I'm going to count them off. Go.
All right, so I got a CV8 Monaro, a HX Ute, an FG Ute, and two F trucks. Yep. And then a Hilux through North Point. So
Hilux, beautiful, through North Point.
Yeah.
A Toyota, fantastic.
Now,
Awesome.
if you're wondering why I keep turning around, because I'm kind of producing this, so I'm going to be bringing in stuff and doing things. So, we can actually, if we started talking about some dude's YouTube channel that's new and exciting, this guy here, he's got different colour hair.
Yeah, but that is me.
So that's a cool thing.
Trucks, but I sold one of them just the other day. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah,
that was the red one, wasn't it?
Yes, the red one. Yep, which is good. I was happy to get rid of that one.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about the red one. Tell us, because I know Mark looked at that and I looked at that, and we were salivating over that one. That was a nice looking truck. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, I mean, good from far from good. It had a 302 and a C4 in it. Something cracked in the C4, so I wouldn't select reverse or park or anything like that. So I had to take the drive shaft out so I could just move it around the shed. And then, but
did that have anything to do with you using it in a certain grassed environment in a test drive capacity?
Yeah, I suppose it's been sitting for like 10 years, and then I got it going, and then just went and ripped a few circle works down into my mate's paddock. So probably had something to do with it, but no, it was good. I'd sort of tied it up, got a few things off LMC trucks and from the States, and just sort of tied it up, a little bit cosmetic stuff, and then took it to Old Fart's garage, and they tuned it up, made it run right, and then it wouldn't select reverse or park or anything after that. And so, I just decided to put it up for sale. And you've
got 3, and you're going to make 1, is that right?
Yeah, correct. So I had two 72s and 167. I'm building a 67. And so the FG Ute that I got was a repairable write-off GS supercharged Coyote. So
Wow.
I'm currently pulling everything out of that at the moment. There's bits and pieces all around this shed of that. And I've been partying it out on Facebook and Gumtree and stuff like that. So trying to get as much money. And
that's a bit of fun doing that, isn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't say fun. It's definitely.
Hang on. Which is better? Selling parts and cars on Gumtree, or playing a home game against Collingwood in Collingwood?
I'd say home games are much better. It's less stressful, and and that's a big statement, because wow. pulling this apart and dealing with people is another thing. It's probably very different anyway. But people want everything for nothing, I suppose. But I mean, it's pretty cheap. Some of the stuff I've sold a fair bit today, but it's all in the experience. I've never done it before, and I'll probably never do it again. But it's well, mate,
it's so far removed from AFL. It's so far removed from kicking footies around. It sounds as though like you kind of go, right, well, that's my professional side and this is my fun side. What's the thought process behind being involved with cars against, I don't know, killing time playing video games as an AFL player or something, whatever?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a few other boys who like go to uni and stuff like that, and but yeah, I just found like with my YouTube channel, and I've only been doing it for a year or so, and found a real passion in it, and having a bit of purpose as well outside of football, and not having football take over your life, which it can do, which it does, and because it's such a highly strung sport, and we're ridiculed a lot and all that sort of stuff, but
scrutinised. You're scrutinised a hell of a lot.
Scrutinised, exactly, yeah, and to be able to switch off and let the brain just relax and enjoy doing something other than training or flicking through Instagram, playing video games or something like that. But that's other people's out.
What's the juice? What's the juice in the cars for you? Is the juice the power, or is the juice the creativity?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I love the power. Love the power of just blowing the tyres off is always good fun, and that's the Monaro just does that effortlessly, and then so does GS Ute as a stock Ute with a supercharger on it. It blew the tyres off pretty easy as well. But I mean, and learning, I've found that I've enjoyed learning more and more about how it all goes together and stuff. I did little bits on my Monaro, but I still got no idea, compared to my mechanics and all that sort of stuff. But I just try my hand at stuff, and then I get to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll ring someone or I'll take it to someone. And
Charlie, we've all been there. Mark, you know exactly what it's like. You've got a drag car you've been finishing off, and there's some things you had to just pass off. Is that right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's been a long process. I was just actually, with my producing here, we were talking about skids, Jason, before. That was cute. Talk us through what was going on here, mate.
Which one's that one, mate? Which picture you got there?
That would be your Datsun 1200, I believe.
Okay. So, it's like the music goes. So it's about circa 1999 before the Millennium Bug hit. I bought that car for $50. I'd fallen in love with an unmarried woman who's now married to me, Catherine. She was in Scotland. I bundled all my money together. I bought that Datsun for 2 months. I just needed something to get around for 2 months, and that was the day before I flew out to Scotland. I took my younger brother Ryan up to Education Road, and we absolutely blew the tyres off.
So, can you see that picture, Charlie? There,
I can. Yes, that's impressive.
Okay, yeah. This is I just basically giving you a rundown of Jason and his amazing burnout talents here. Hang on, we'll just flick
but
on.
Hang on. I sold that car. I sold that car to a guy at work for $150. How good's that?
All right, now this would be me.
What one you got now?
That'll be my Mazda Ute at the Jamboree doing a legal burnout.
Illegal burnout. Love that.
But anyway, so Charlie, what I wanted to chat to you about a bit more as well is what got you into cars? Like what was that point? Who was it, or when, or where were you?
Yeah, it was definitely my dad. I mean, he's a car nut as well, and he just from his stories, basically, I used to love hearing the stories that he used to get up to as a kid, and what he used to pull stuff apart and put it back together. He used to have Cortinas.
I like him. I like him already.
Yeah, and he used to have this old XC. He used to have an XC panel van with 351 and a top loader, and apparently his fastest car in the district in West Wyalong, New South Wales. Apparently, that's a story that Dad tells, and but yeah, and he crashed it like 10 times and like got it and fixed it and got it all back together. And like I just used to love hearing those stories and wanted more and wanted cars, and Dad would get it fixed, and then he'd be driving back to see Mum, and then he'd hit a kangaroo, and then kangaroo, and like it was just the most by the sound of the most unlucky car you know like you'd ever have. But then he recently the last few years he's rebuilt that car.
He's still got it. He's still got it.
No, sorry, he doesn't have it. He went and found bits and pieces, parts, and then he just put together a car that was like his back in the day, like when he had those. And it was
nice.
lime green. So it's it's very bright, the car. But it is awesome.
So did you grow up as a Ford kid or a Holden kid?
I think I was more Holden growing up, but like I don't discriminate. I love
So that happened.
Yeah. So yeah, I got that was my first car. It was a VT wagon, and then from that I went to an XR6. An FG XR6 Ute was my first brand new car as a footballer. Yep. Played for the Gold Coast Suns. That was my first car. Yeah. So and then I went to a Holden. So
hang on a second, Charlie. Go back to the wagon. I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions in rapid fire succession, so you can't think about it. You got to answer. Fastest speed in the car?
180.
Most people you had in the car at once?
12.
Most nights you spent sleeping in a row?
Probably only 2.
The longest distance you jumped it?
I don't know about that one.
How many times did you get it bogged in the beach?
Never.
Really? Oh, okay. I was thinking you were going to be down the beach surfing or something like that. Those things are pretty good, the old mangs, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the thing. And like I remember because I moved to Brisbane to play football, and like where we were, there was this roundabout, and like.
Here we go.
It was a big, wide roundabout, and I remember like I'd get my old brother in the car and we'd go, and he'd be like, do it. And like, so I'd start going around the corner and it'd be in like second gear or something, and you just plan it, and it'd kick back to first, and she'd just hang out and go the whole way around the roundabout, and then you'd straighten up and you'd come back, and it just used to make us both laugh as we'll like come back from training. We just muck around, do that. But
well, let's just quickly run through, because obviously kicking the tail out and doing a bit of a drift and stuff like that. Yeah, you've demonstrated your circuit driving ability at the bend. You don't mind throwing it down the quarter mile. Have you done any drifting? Have you been out on a drift track at all?
No, I haven't, and I'm hanging to do it. Like I want to because the Monaro is still manual, so I've got a hydraulic handbrake ready to go. I just got to install it, and I want to go and just sort of send this thing around the track and learn how to do it, because I can't think of anything better. And I have been looking for potential drift cars and stuff like that for another build, and just to go, but like with everything going on, it's I thought I'm best just sort of cool it and trying to finish the projects that I've got, and then I can sort of move on to the drift car after that. But that is definitely in the books. Well,
the ute that you had was supercharged, is that right?
Yeah, so that's a Coyote with the supercharged, a Harrop 1900, I think they have on them stock.
Right. No, the white you've got now, the white the photograph we've got in front of us now, that was the Holden one.
The Holden one, yes. Yeah.
Was that a 6-litre supercharged, if my memory serves me correct?
Yeah, so that was on the Gold Coast. I had a Pro-charged, 6-litre, which made about 430 kilowatt at the tyres, which is...
That is the quintessential Gold Coast shot. Look at you. You're wearing your boardies, you got your white Holden, the black murdered out wheels, you know. All you needed was a meter maid, and that would have been like the postcard shot, wouldn't it, hey?
Absolutely, definitely. Look at me. Absolute scumbag there, aren't I?
Fresh from schoolies almost, toolies or whatever you would have.
Just need this hair and I would have been laughing.
Holy moly! Did you miss that? You?
I do. It was my first V8. So.
Okay.
And I bought it from Melbourne, and it only had coilovers and straight tips on it, and that was it. And then I sort of went through the process of catback exhaust, and then extractors, and then cam, clutch, and then went Pro Charger. And because one of my mates in Cairns had a Pro Charger, and I just loved the sound of it, a noisy, obnoxious thing. And I loved it. It was just awesome. And I sold it just before I sort of left the Gold Coast, and I really wish I hadn't, because I love that. I had a deal with Fiat as well. So like I had a Fiat as a sponsor car, and then had the Ute sitting in the shed, but I still drove it like every second day because like I just loved it that much.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Charlie, I've just found your video too here of your dad's panel van. So
yes,
this is very cool. I'm just going to bring this up.
Check that out. That's fantastic.
Screen,
It is.
That is fantastic.
He's a bloke who, my HX that I'm building with an RB30 in it, it's the bloke who built that, who did all the paint and stuff. He's doing all the body work on my HX in Parkes, New South Wales.
How long's he had that van for?
I reckon about 5 or 6 years now. But
no. The other one.
Which one's that? The green one?
The original one, yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't have the original one. Sorry. He found it just like he wanted to build the car. He sold that years and years ago when he traded it for black HQ Monaro or something, I think. So
he did have one of these a long time ago, is that right?
Yeah, so he built it back to the spec that he had when he was 21.
Is there any chance you could have been conceived in the back of it?
Yeah, I was just about to say that was the hotel that Charlie came from. Yeah.
No, I think that was a bit well before my time. So that's funny as.
Hey, Charlie, tell me. You obviously, you got to go to footy training and stuff like that. You got to go down the airport, bits and pieces. Are you the horsepower big dog down at Port Adelaide?
Yeah, I think I'm probably the only one that's sort of into cars, well, as much as I am anyway. I mean, I used to have Jarman Impey, who used to play for Port Adelaide, now plays for Hawthorn.
I wasn't going to mention him. All right.
He has a very nice 427 HQ Monaro, so coupe,
nice.
Which is amazing. So he's so it was us two pretty much, and now it's just me, and he's still got that. And but yeah, other than that, I know Tom Cleary that he's got a dirt bike and wants to get a road bike, and Ollie Wines. I mean, the boys who I took out to the Bend, and we did an open track day there, and the laugh for days on the video that.
Okay, don't name names, but tell us, what is the lamest car that one of these guys rocks up in? What's the one car you will just rip into him when you see it?
Oh, I'm not the only one.
Don't tell us.
It'll be it's a Subaru Forester, maybe? No, it's a Impreza. Sorry, Subaru Impreza wagon. And it's got all the boys put unit stickers and Southern Cross stickers all over it. And Darcy Byrne-Jones, who drives it, he doesn't care.
You named him. You outed him. Oh.
Everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows it's his car. And it's very funny. He doesn't care. It's just an A to B for him, and that's the way some people look at cars.
There's a couple of car connections to the power that I know of, and the stories are almost a bit of legend folklore. And one of them centres around the mouth of the South, as he's known, Cane Corns. And when he first started playing, he was ribbed for driving an old K30 Corolla, and just drove it non-stop. And apparently the story goes was that his old man had a car yard, Cornsy, and he got it as a free trade-in. And he was such a tight ass, apparently, that he kept on driving it, and they were all giving him heaps because everyone was driving new cars. But the story of Port Adelaide has to be El Presidente, David Koch.
Yep.
Do you know about his little ride at the shed?
I do. I've seen. So I went and caught up with him in Sydney at over Christmas time, and he showed me his Mustang.
Did he do a shed skid?
No, he didn't. He should have though. I don't think he's moved it in a while, but he's a busy man, Kosh. But it's a nice ride. It's just he wanted a turnkey car, and it's got an LS in it. Not many people know that. Like I remember, I said to him, I remember when I was in year 12, and the magazine came out, the Street Machine magazine came out, and it had Koshy building a Mustang with an LS in it, and I was like, you can't do that. What are you doing that for? That's a Holden motor.
What's it like? Talk us through the car that he's got. Tell us what he's got.
It's a Mustang Fastback. I'm not sure in the year, but it's like a bluish. And basically, he just did a LS1 conversion in it.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he told me Eric Bennett helped him with, basically did most of the work, organised everything, and got the shop in Melbourne to do it all. And he just wanted a nice, cool car that he could get in and drive and cruise.
Mate, I got a feeling that you and him are going to have a bit of a date on your channel with cars, maybe at the Bend or somewhere like that. And you might need to do a bit of a road trip with the Monaro and get over to the Mustang and the Monaro and the David, the Koshy and Charlie show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I was sort of caught up with him, and we spoke about doing some stuff. Yeah,
oh, there's a picture of it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, is it like an Eleanor? Is it?
It's a fastback.
Fastback, yeah, sort of like a Mark 1 sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah, but with the lights at the front, it's got a bit of an Eleanor-esque look about it.
Well, I do believe, I'm just having a look to see if I can get a picture of it. But, very nice car. I mean, look, touring car masters and that are running LSs now, most of those cars, so it's pretty much a control engine.
Yeah, exactly.
But, we have a request for the end of the podcast to be you doing a shed skid in your Monaro, but and that is from a guy who owns the exact same looking Monaro. Jason, you know who I'm talking about?
No, which one?
Have a think. We've had him on the podcast. He's got a Monaro that looks identical to that, probably a few less horsepower than Charlie's.
Jeff
Tartuzzi.
Oh, Charlie?
Jeff.
Charlie, have you ever met Jeff Tartuzzi?
I'm not sure. Don't think so.
Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. Jeff's a good
Aaron
guy.
on here saying, finally a reliable Mustang.
I know. So Charlie, let's talk car shows, getting out and about. I see you had a bit of power cruise action. Tell us some of the shows you've been to around the nation.
Yeah, so I used to go to the Queensland Power Cruise all the time. The guys from High Torque Performance who built the SSV Ute I had, I always went out with them, and then they put me in a couple of quick cars, and that was always awesome. I love that. What else? I did drag challenge with Frank Dandy in his in Fair XW, and that was an amazing experience. He's like, when I broke my leg, he messaged me. He's like, "Oh, now you can come do drag challenge," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I may as well." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll just come along and do some filming, or whatever." But ended up like literally working my ass off and just like barely having time to film. Really, I mean, that car to go from street trim to drag trim, you got to change everything. But I loved it. It was so much fun. I mean, the late nights and early mornings, and the lads and the whole community. That drag challenge is just awesome fun, and it's something that I want to do in the Monaro. Well, I was thinking about doing it this year, but I'm not too sure if it's going to happen, but if it does, I'll definitely be keen to do it. If I might have to slip an auto in the Monaro, and so I can run a proper number.
Yeah, and so a lot of the shows you visited have just been East Coast based. Have you done much else?
No, not a whole lot really. Other than sort of being out of the bend, I've done the roll racing once out here.
Yep.
In the Monaro, which was awesome. That event is so cool. And like I was booked into. There was one tomorrow night that was going to happen, but obviously with everything going on, they canned that. But yeah.
Do you know what, Charlie? If they were smart and they just didn't tell anybody it was on, and just had a few guys out there, can you imagine what that would have been like?
Yeah, I know. If they had absolutely, that would have been amazing.
So Adelaide, have you been to many events in Adelaide? Any car shows in Adelaide?
Not a whole lot. I've done a couple of coffee and chromes. That's about it. But nothing. I sort of find out things too late, and obviously done a few runs out at Adelaide International Dragway, and gone out and watched out there. But that doesn't ever seem to. That sort of didn't really seem to happen that much last year, or even sort of this year, with what's going on with them sort of trying to get the track up and running and safe again. But
all right. Well, what about I hit you up with this question? What's your best driving road in Adelaide? Go from point A to point B. Where would you think in Adelaide is your favourite road?
Favourite road? All right.
Yeah.
I would go straight up Green Hill Road, down the Corkscrew Road, and then up Gorge Road, and then sort of come through Lobethal, and then back around. So Lobethal Road's really good. I really love that. And then sort of either turn around and come back through the same road, Gorge Road, all that sort of stuff, or just keep going around.
Summer, autumn, winter, or spring? When would you do it?
I love summer. I love summer. Summer about you can leave at like 8 o'clock, and you can the sun's still up for another hour and a half, and then you just sort of cruise out, and then by the time you're coming back, the sun's going down, and then that's it.
Which is the best car?
Somebody posted that up on Facebook not long ago about what's the best road in Adelaide, and I had to agree with the one comment that popped up for me. I was like, well, there's so many bloody speed cameras now. Somebody's like, the best road is the Bend Motorsport Park, which I agree
on.
Absolutely.
There's so many good roads in Adelaide. I mean, we're so spoilt, and like to be able to, best time to go is during the week and about 11 o'clock when the cyclists are all gone. So you don't come around a corner and murder someone.
Well, you also have the luxury of not just 4 wheels but 2. Tell us a bit about your motorbike exploits, mate. What have you got there on that side of things?
Well, I don't have my Harley anymore. I used to have a Street Glide, 2018 Street Glide, which from Adelaide Bike Works. They were sort of they'd give me a bike, every few weeks, and I'd have that, and they'd look after me as a sort of ambassador deal, but sort of they got knocked on the head by the AFL because it wasn't a Toyota. Then I ended up just buying one, and I picked it up and basically rode it straight to Sydney. And it was so good. I loved it. Me and Chad Corn, we jumped on the bikes and rode to Sydney, and it rained pretty much half the way.
What's he got? What sort of bikes he got?
He's got the CVO Road Glide, and that's a very nice bike. He calls it, he goes, yeah, you've got the Commodore, and so I've got the HSV. So he's like a bit of a...
Well, we did have a chat a couple of days ago about you being in the paper with him and him sort of fake flexing, like that, when he was doing that fake flex on that. He's a competitive bugger, old Chad, isn't he?
He is. I get along with him really well, probably too well. But he's a very fit man, and I've done 2 sessions with him this week, and probably go around there again. And he's got a nice gym set up at his place, and it's but he's in phenomenal nick. He was in quarantine for 14 days, and I don't think he dropped the weights in the whole 14 days he was in there.
Charlie, he can be in as good as nick as he wants. How much horsepower does his daily have?
Yeah, not much.
So you just need to get your little business card, right? When you get your business and your name worked out, every time you see him and you get a new dyno, just write the horsepower and go, "There's my business card, mate." All right. Okay. So what does the Monaro make behind you?
It sort of made 650 real kilowatt. Just before the roll race event. So that was about a month ago. So
talk us through that car. We haven't really explored that. Tell us about that car.
Yeah. So I bought this in when was it? Like 2017, and it was from Melbourne, and I paid 20 grand for it. 22 grand for it. Had 130,000 Ks on it. Manual, silver, Harriet brakes. Like, it was coilovers. Pretty cool. Just pretty cool car. And I drove around for a couple months and then pulled it all apart. Boys from Paul Pavlo Motors, they sort of did pretty much all the work on it. And I was doing some work experience with them through 2017, doing one day in a week, and just sort of they'd show me, they'd let me work on my car and pulled the engine out myself, pulled it all apart, and then watched them put it all back together because I had no idea. But learning as I sort of went along, and I was going to go a Pro Charger again, but the boys convinced me to go turbo because it's they said turbos are way better, and I was like, oh, okay. And I said, all right, I'll do it. I've never had a turbo car, so let's do it. And then they're like, you should do this, And I was just like, yeah, okay. And then next minute, it's got a 9-inch in it, all the Plasma Man stuff. And they were like, you got to put an auto in it. And I was like, no, I still want a manual. And it's got a button clutch in it. It's got all the good, I think, all the good pistons. I'm not 100% sure on it. It was sort of like Mick built it, and it's sort of like we've beaten on it. It's had like maybe close to 100 runs on the dyno, and we drove it. So we finished the car, sort of finished it, and then we sort of went straight to Holden Nats at Heathcote, and then raced it and didn't miss a beat, and brought it back, and then sort of sat in the shed for a bit over through winter, and then I was able to and then take it out the bend and do a few more race days and stuff like that. I haven't been able to do as much as I'd love to do, and I've only just started going out the bend and doing stuff out there. And but it's
what's your best quarter mile? What's your best quarter mile?
11.1. 11.1 at 145 mile an hour.
Now, were you at playing weight or were you at pre-playing weight?
I was at because I had my broken leg then, so I was very heavy. I was a lot heavier.
Because lose 100 kilos and lose a tenth, so you know what I mean. So what do you reckon it's got in it now? What do you reckon you could squeeze it?
If I'd learned how to shift properly, I reckon I'd be able to do sort of a mid-10 easy. I mean, like the mile per hour is there. It's just I've got to learn to drive the thing. So,
a 10-second stick car is very rare. It's very rare to get someone who can stick a 10-second.
Exactly. I'd love to be able to do it.
Yeah. And so you talked about plans about maybe going to drag challenge with it. Would you look to put an auto to make it more user friendly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I was going to do drag challenge, definitely, I'd probably put a glide in it. I mean, talking to the boys at the shop, they were telling me, they're like, you got to get rid of the F truck, sell that FG as it is, don't touch it, and just tub the Monaro, put a cage in it, and put a glide in it, and we'll put a bigger turbo on it, and you'll be right. And I was just like, I'm trying to save money, not like. I've got this. If I sell everything, I still won't.
Charlie, I've got this little mate of mine with one eyebrow who had this perfectly serviceable Falcon Ute, and then suddenly it got tubbed, and it got a 9-inch, and it got a turbo like this big, and then it got this big engine, and then it got grey paint and orange roll cage. And Mark, do you know who I'm talking about?
No idea. I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna ask a question, Jason. If you want to take in some oxygen for a second, we're all worried about you running out there. Charlie, I just noticed on your channel too. You happen to drive this. I'll bring it up. VN Group A. Now, so you got an association with the guys from Richmond. They're a pretty cool company. This VN Group A. They're worth quite a bit of money. I mean, what was that like driving that thing, and what do you reckon they'll get for it?
That was awesome. I'd sort of never really sort of had. I remember watching that sort of like the VP and the VN sort of like and hearing and watching Brock sort of throw it around the Bathurst and all that sort of stuff as a kid. And I think in that clip I got it wrong. I said it was the Bathurst winner. That I don't think the VN was. It was the VP after that. But it was phenomenal. I mean, like it's quite wild for a car like it had a big cam. I mean, everything worked in it. It was a cool car. It was loud, and I mean, look at it. They wanted about 116 grand for it, but I think, and they'd sold. So like the videos I've done, apparently all the videos I've done for them, all the cars have sold. So.
There you go.
Hang my hat on that.
Well, let's just go through the Richmond stock.
Hang on.
How many Lambos they got there at the moment?
No.
Yeah.
Mark, hang on a second. Charlie, would you be keen to do a test drive of Mark's Drag You? Because he's selling that at the moment and he hasn't had as much luck as he needs.
Yes, I will do that. That is something that I was thinking of doing. I should like get people just like, I meet them on a road, they show up with a car, and then I just like, what have you got? And then they show me a car. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll get in it and I'll drive it, and then we'll.
Mate, if you're driving them and then they're selling, you need like a green leprechaun outfit, like the lucky leprechaun. You know, give me your car, I'll sell your car.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's hilarious.
With that Ute, actually, I've seen that advertised and seen that on all these pages. Like, have you raced it yet?
No. So, Jason, if he can shut up for 3 seconds. The car's been a long time in the build. For me, I started building it actually when I was working for Street Fords magazine.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I can't hide you, Jason. I can turn you off.
Go on, keep going.
But no, it's just been one of those things. The car, it's been through several job changes, divorce, interstate moves, all sorts of stuff like that. And then I finally decided to get it running and finished. And for me, the goal was actually getting it into Street Machine magazine. So, which was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Awesome.
You know, having like I did my first story for Street Machine writing for them in '98, I think. So for me, it was kind of cool to actually finally get a car in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And big thanks to Simon and the guys. But I mean, there is some scope at the moment. I mean, obviously everything that's happening right now with COVID-19's thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. But also, as Jason knows, I have another project on the go, and that's kind of got priority, and that is my LS-powered Land Cruiser.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's
awesome.
I don't think I've got a photo of it here, actually. It's getting closer and closer. I mean, it's been tricky with places being closed down and stuff like that, but hopefully next week some parts will arrive, and I might be able to spend a bit of time down at Tough Mounts where the car is now.
Yep.
Because it's good they're all doing the social distancing thing in the workshop there. It's quite a big spread out workshop, so so I'll be able to go down there and get a bit more done on it. And as Jason knows, I'm coming back from a broken collarbone and shoulder blade, so my arm's still a bit useless at the moment too, so that's sort of threw a bit of a spanner in the works. But once the Land Cruiser is done, the drag car does run. With the lack of a drag strip here that I'd want to run it on, we were talking about making a few changes to it and taking it out for roll racing.
Absolutely.
Could be interesting. I mean, I think it made 800 horsepower at the wheels on low boost at $6,000, and it revs to like just under 8 or something like that. So, it should. On paper, it should be pretty quick. You know, it's you can quite numbers and stuff like that, but it's got all the good gear in it, and you know that's probably why it's taken me longer to build. But cars. I like my bikes too.
I did
except
see
when
that.
I fall off them, but
that's obviously how you did your collarbone.
Yeah. So no, that wasn't. It was a brilliant weekend, having heaps of fun with my mates, and then went and fell off. So yeah,
he did it in a personal pleasuring accident.
I do find pleasure in riding motorbikes, Jason. Yep.
Yep.
Well,
Exactly.
Mark, if I can quickly jump in here, Charlie, we talked earlier on about the attrition rate your body is taking thanks to the AFL and the knees and the ankles and all the bits and pieces. And Mark, you talk about the financial work that's gone into building your ute as well, and hobbies can chew up vast quantities of resources that we put in, and it's only towards the end of that process that we actually reconcile how much we put into it. And sometimes we overlook it and laugh and move on, but sometimes you got to liquidate a car to get back into another car. Charlie, have you ever found yourself at a point where you wanted something and you wanted to move forward and you had to sell something you didn't want?
I suppose I need. With the white ute, I had to sell that, and just to try and because I was moving away and all that sort of stuff, and it was just something that I sort of didn't really need, and then but anyway, I sold that, and then CV8 Monaro with a 416 cube. Built with a turbo 400, popped up from the.
Oh, hang on a second. I'll give it to you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor bugger.
And I ended up buying that, and had to ship it up to Cairns for a little bit, and I was driving around there, and then I ended up selling that again. So within 3 months.
Given the fact that the CV8 Monaros or that era of Monaros are kind of getting more valuable now, can you see yourself ever selling that car?
I don't think so. I remember saying to my mum about the white ute. So, I'll never sell it. I'll just keep stuff to it. I'll never sell it. And then it was the first thing to go. I was like, but this thing, I've got a lot of time and a lot of money into it, and I don't know. I can't see myself selling it because I love it. It's something that I've actually had hands on with, and which I didn't really have with my last sort of two
Charlie,
fast cars.
Charlie, that's a load of crap. Tell us what you would sell it for. Tell us at the moment, what have you seen that you would like to get your hands on? What would you sell it for?
Oh.
Let's just put it this way: Jeff Tartuzzi will swap you plus how many cashes for his dead stock silver on.
How many cash?
If you ever want to put it back to standard, just do that. Just sell Jeff yours and then swap it. Yeah.
Is there anything you've seen at the moment that you'd like?
There's a pretty mental R32 GTR kicking around, a white one. That's pretty wild with a sequential gearbox on it. I reckon that'd be a lot of fun.
I've seen the videos of you at Power Cruise, and you're coming around, and I watched the 32 and the 33 and the 34, and you blew them all off in that blue thing, mate. Yeah, you blew them all off.
Yeah, they weren't quite as this one, but that Monaro was very fast. It was 460 cube with a Harriet manifold. It was very cool. I could see
Charlie building a Burnout Masters car for Summernats.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, we talked about the events that you went to and you didn't mention Summernats, and my older brother said that he's seen you at Coffee and Cars and you're trying to be incognito. But when you're as big as you are with a beard like that, a hoodie can only hide you so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so exactly.
What about Summernats? What about burnouts and bits and pieces? Does that sort of interest you, the burnout side of things?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been trying to get this HX ute I've been building for the last 3 or 4 years.
RB powered, is that right?
RB powered, yeah. I've changed my mind 3 times on the engine, and I just said, I want something totally different, and I love the straight six turbo, and it came with it was my grandfather's old farm ute that I've
wow.
So I've got hold. It's so HX 77, I'm pretty sure, and it's got a
street registered.
Yep, yeah, it will be. So it's got a full tubular front end from McDonald Brothers. It's got a floating rear diff, where Ron Harrop built and did everything like that on it. So it's going to have a full shade back chassis, everything like that. It'll be a pretty big. It's been a pretty big build so far. I've spent a lot of money on it, and.
Well, when you're saying these mods, what's the go? Are you angling it towards drag or event? or event?
I want to take it to Summernats. I want to show it there, and then once I've shown it there, I just want to drive it, and I want to drag it, and I want to flog it, because I don't want to spend all this money on a car and just have it sit in the shed. It'll look like an old farm ute.
I was about to say, is it going to be pretty, or is it going to be patinaed?
It'll be pretty. It'll be pretty, and it'll have a roll cage in it, and still a bench seat and all that sort of stuff. Column shift, power glide, and just be a cool cruiser. But also, I want to be able to run a decent number in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned the RB30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that something? Are you already building that, or is that that's the plan?
Yeah. So I've got a block for. I've got an engine. For I think it was $300. I've pulled it down, and
a dirty 30.
Yeah, exactly. So it's at the machine shop, getting machined, I suppose, and that will be back soon, I hope, and then we can start putting that together, and then I'll send it over to Adam at Pay Restorations in Parks, New South Wales, and he can start. He's got actually a dummy engine and a power glide over there that he's just mocking up the engine mounts, because I bought an LSA for it. And I was going to go LSA, and then with all the details and everything, that was going on the ute. I said it's pretty hard to make one of those engines look pretty. So then I was like, all right, I sold that, and then I was like, I'll just go a big cube LS, big cube LS, maybe a Harrop manifold again, and I'll do that. And then so I kept the engine mounts, and I said, nah, everyone's put an LS in these things. I want to do something different. And then I was like, I went to Holden Nationals with a few guys who were running RBs, RB30s in little Tiranas and stuff like that, and I was like, they're pretty cool. And I was just like, yep, done. And then much cheaper for parts and stuff like that to build, I suppose. Probably not cheaper to run, but I'll sort of cross that bridge when I get to it. But I'm pretty keen to get this one started so I can. Are
you going full traditional single cam head or twin cam head?
Single head. Yep. So with a Holden rocker cover on it. And it's just so maybe I'm hoping to get it looking really nice, and so it looks sort of factory in there, something.
Oh, cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
you could have done something kind of rare that people aren't doing, like put a barrow in it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of that happening, isn't
no one's doing barrow swaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
funnily enough, though, our friend Jason down at Tough Mounts, they're just doing a Toyota Land Cruiser 1FZ swap into a HQ, doubling that up. That's the 4.5 litre 6.
What have they got in that? Sorry.
The Land Cruiser straight.
Mark, stop it.
The Land Cruiser 1FZ engine.
Mark, stop it. He's made his mind up. All right, stop confusing him. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
No, I like the fact that you're actually using a Holden RB30 with a Holden rock cover. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I just sort of because it came with a 6, and so I just sort of may as well keep one in there, and might be easy to register. Hopefully.
Yeah, cool. So outside of the Holden, you've got obviously the F truck, going on. Anything else that's been on the wish list for you for a while that you've been waiting for the right car to come along?
Also, I do like the new Mustangs, and I was thinking I watch a lot of YouTube, Cletus McFarlane and all that sort of stuff, and I love the fact that Cletus McFarlane, his daily is an 800 horsepower C7 Corvette. And then also Adam LZ, he's got a GT 350 or something like that revs to 9,000 RPM or something like that. And I just think it'd be cool to have you can buy them for about 30 grand now with 60,000 Ks on a manual black, and to have a nice cool car that I can go thrash the hills in and get in it, start it, drive it, and be done with it.
Like a super muscle car type thing.
Yeah, sort of thing. Something that's not as temperamental as this thing behind me, and and not as obnoxious, I suppose, as this thing is, and go from there. It's something that you can get in, drive, flog it, and then not worry about it too much.
Which footy team sponsored by Ford?
Geelong.
Oh no! Okay, that was sorry. That's just gone in the wrong direction straight away.
No, but even like I said, I'm looking for a drift car as well. I want something like that would be cool to be able to have sort of a purpose built drift car that I can take to the track, take to bend and flog. cruise around. There was one that came up on Marketplace, and the guy was up for swaps, and that was when I had the red truck, and I said, "Hey mate, you want an F100 that needs work?" And he goes, "No, thanks, mate."
Well, speaking of drifting, I was just going to say this is a guy that we should introduce you to. Adelaide boy, Jake Jones. He'd probably, and he's quite tall as well. How tall? Jake would be bloody getting up 6'5" or something, 6'4".
Is that the RB?
He wasn't that much shorter than Mitch Creek. The RB powered BMW.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, that thing's wild.
Yeah, Charlie, poor old Mark is under 6 foot, so anybody over 6 foot to Mark is like the land of the giants. I'm 6'2", so yeah, he's a diminutive little lad. He's about 6'2", Mark. He walks on the tip of his toes. That's all.
Jason's second chin is at about 5'2" though. Yeah,
I know you rest just underneath it, you little nerd. But Jake's a cool guy. We're going to connect you with him in time, Charlie.
Absolutely.
And we've got some good mates, Linden Reynolds, Adam May, a lot of the old school original drifters when it first started here in South Australia. These guys were part of it. Mark and I got some good hookups, so we'll make sure that you get some seat time with these guys. Right, I think that'd be a cool little thing, wouldn't it, Mark? We can maybe we should do a live stream from the next South Australian drift round.
Yeah, so I have been meaning to get out to one of those things, but with football it was sort of like always clashing. But I'll be definitely going out to the next one if it ever happens, I suppose.
Yeah, we can sort that out for you. That won't be a problem at all, mate. That'd be a cool way to go about it. We're really keen to hear about the drift car and the burnout car. It's interesting that it may end up being one and the same thing. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. It'd probably end up being the same thing, I reckon.
And we saw you obviously going to Power Cruise up in Queensland. Were you entered to go to the one in South Australia?
No, I wasn't, because we played in Melbourne on the Saturday night and I didn't get back till the Sunday morning. I was thinking about entering and then going from the airport and getting one of the boys to take my car up there and just racing up there just to catch the last day. But it just didn't work out. So I sort of, wasn't able to go. But obviously
they have postponed it. No, they've postponed it. And Michael Gilbert, or Gup as he's known to everybody, is a good mate of Mark and I as well. So we'll see what we can do there and see if we can get something organised for you there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always really cool to have somebody new in the network like yourself that can have these new experiences that Mark and I can help you out with.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've been spending some time up at the Bend. You've been doing a lot of car reviews. Tell us a little bit about your website. What direction you're hoping that's going to take you after footy?
Yeah, so I've done a few little reviews and stuff like that with Richmond's, and it was sort of like that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'd like to sort of get into that sort of thing where, like I can make a living from it, and same with this YouTube, the YouTube stuff, and I was talking to Koshi over Christmas about trying to, grow, move it to like being footballers in cars or something like that, or just trying to, which is something that would, I think would work really well. And but and then the reviews and all that sort of stuff, it's sort of, that was just sort of a trial period of what I was doing with the Richmond guys, and learning how much work you got to do and sort of try and do the research and all that sort of stuff. I love cars, but getting down to little details and stuff like that is something that I was actually. Thing just fell off. Caught it.
He just got tackled by Travis Blake. Yeah.
Ollie Wines, Mark. Ollie Wines is the bull.
Yeah, but so that was, and I'd love to be able to turn this into something that I can turn into a job, because it's definitely a passion. And getting up to the Bend, and I've been talking to them a lot more, and they've with what's going on, they're trying to get me to come up there a little bit more but they've got, I think, a maximum of 10 cars at the moment, but they're still operating up there, so which is good. But I just got to do the work. You got to sort of just keep grinding and try and get everything working, and I've just got to do the work. I've got enough stuff to do here and talk to the right people and try and get a few more ideas from people who know what they're doing, because I'm sort of learning as I go.
Mark and I have been sort of doing and videos and bits and pieces since about 2004, 5, something crazy like that. You know, I watched a lot of your reviews and the Supra and the Commodore and stuff like that, and you got a really good talking personality from behind the wheel. I look at guys like Treaders, who was on the news, and he's servicing the South Australian community with media updates. There's no doubt that you're a good speaking guy with cars, and you think, are you thinking that the technical aspect is what's maybe holding you back at the moment?
I'd say so, a little bit. I mean, like I find it pretty easy just to talk and go off sort of what I just to basically talk and spitball and just sort of talk a bit of shit, really. I mean, I'm pretty good at that. But, I suppose it's getting down to the details of what people actually want to know about these cars, you know, and that sort of thing. And another sort of podcast, YouTube channel that I've watched and sort of picked up a few things is like Smoking Tires over in the States. And they're awesome. And, like, their knowledge of cars is, like, ridiculous, you know, and like I started like buying books and stuff like that and reading, and I've really felt like since I'm driving the 2007 GT3 RS, oh no, it wasn't RS, it was GT3 Touring, I've fallen in love with Porsches. Like that thing just changed my whole mind and like spectrum on cars altogether and Porsches.
Hey,
and,
Charlie, I've got a cheap one. I've got a cheap one here for you if you want. A real cheap Porsche mock-up right behind me.
Very nice, mate. But yeah, that's I just want to I'd love to be able to do more and more of that stuff, and that's what like I sort of said about like getting people to send me messages of what cars they have, and then get them to roll in, and basically I just jump in and go for a drive with them, and they tell me about the car and the story and the history, and that's something that I was sort of keen to do something like that. I think would probably be more suited for me instead of basically reviewing brand new cars.
A little segment called Charlie on the Run, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, something like that.
There's a lot of entrepreneurial football players that go on to run pubs and all sorts of stuff like that. Maybe you could have Charlie's rod shop or Charlie's performance shop and just employ a bunch of guys to work on your cars for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's
you can just sit there and sit back and be the project manager. Keep your hands clean.
I'd also like a pub too, though. That'd be good.
You know, Charlie, there's that, and Mark, there's that place that's just off by Harndorf, the turn-off that got burnt down, Grumpy's, and that would have been a really cool place you could have turned into a really good, legitimate car place. I could see you maybe with a place in the hills, Charlie.
Yeah, I love the hills. I'm always looking at real estate up there, and I think that would be awesome to be able to have like a hub basically for. I suppose that's why I got this shed as well. It's like to sort of set up a bit of a hub sort of thing for it and for my channel, and I'm always looking at real estate, and to be able to, I would love to build something out on maybe like say you 20 to 30 acres and just have, like you said, like somewhere where you can set up and have people come to your place and then you go from there.
Could be the Australian Cletus McFarlane.
Exactly. And by a racetrack. My God, how much fun would that be?
Well, there's some great opportunities.
That's all he does.
Yeah, there's some great opportunities floating around, and for a guy like yourself who's got the knowledge and who's got the profile, you talk about the football profile that you've got. You're fast getting an automotive profile as well. So from us, obviously at the Hoonatics, we do whatever we can to support you accordingly, and especially because you have good choice of cars as well with Barras and LSs. Let's talk about the worst car you've ever owned in your life. Come on, tell us the worst thing you've ever owned.
The worst car I ever owned would have to be a WB Ute I bought for $1,000.
Right, okay.
Here in Adelaide. It was probably the worst looking and the roughest car I ever bought, but any time I needed to use it, get in it, started every time without it. 3 on the tree, bench seat. I bought it for the bench seat for my HX because I didn't have one. And basically paid $1,000 for the whole car and got the bench seat and pulled the bench seat out, and then sold it for $1,000 back to the guy.
Oh, well, it sounds all right to us.
Bought it off.
How many cars have you had, Charlie, in total?
Actually, probably no. My worst car would be just the Omega, VE Omega Commodore I bought after my XR. This thing is just going to I don't know why it's stopping. Oh, it's not staying there. But yeah, it was a Omega. That would be my worst car, actually.
Just a POV pack.
It was a POV pack that I put the SSV tail lights on. And then I ended up buying Steelies for it and then put white walls on it, like the old school white walls.
Oh, Charlie, you went through one of those phases.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Put roof racks on it, put my surfboard on the top. And look, it sort of looked all right, but yeah, and then it was just not a good car. And
was that when you were about to be traded to Collingwood? Was that when you were sort of just doing a bit of planning work?
Yeah, something like that. I've got to try and fix this whole thing. But yeah,
you could be the proud owner of this.
What's this? Oh, yeah, true. That's very cool, though. I do like that.
I can't see it. What one you got, mate? What do you got?
Your car.
We've got your Volkswagen up there.
I can't see it. Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. Well, see, Charlie, the whole deal here is the this little garage back here is part of a show I do with my son called the O2 Garage and Daughter. We've got a little YouTube channel going, and the idea is to buy and flip cars so that these guys can afford to buy their own cars for high school.
Awesome.
And it vicariously allows me to own cars that I wouldn't normally own and have a whole lot of fun with. And this is a 65 Baja that we bought from a guy who kind of ripped us off a bit, but who cares? And, we're getting there. Thomas has had, what's he had, Mark? He's had an FJ40 Land Cruiser, a BA Falcon Ute, a Mark II Cortina.
Oh, cool.
A Suzuki Swift GDI. What else has he had? Oh, we had a Jeep. We had a Jeep Cherokee floating around here for a bit as well. And the adventures of cars can take you anywhere, and can you meet people like yourself. And yeah, there's a little dork there. That's us preparing for COVID-19 and the zombie apocalypse, as Thomas calls it. So, my daughter Ruby Grace, she's only 13. And she hit the tools for the first time and helped me rebuild a lawnmower the other day. So we filmed that. So that was a good bit of fun. And kicking around here somewhere, and I know he's out here in the dark at the moment, the little bugger. I've got Sparkplug the dog as well, and he barks and bites everything. So if you come to the house, mate, you're going to get bitten. You're just going to have to just pass the whack.
Is that Sparkplug there?
Where? No, I don't know where the little bugger is. He's here somewhere. He waits for the next door neighbour's cat. He sits by the fence, waits for it to jump, then he goes it. He's a hilarious thing. Well, mate, it's been absolutely awesome talking to you tonight. I've had an absolute ball. I don't know about you, Mark. What else do we know?
I was just going to say, before we wrap up, since you're mobile, Charlie, with the phone there, you want to give us a quick tour around what you're messing around with there?
Absolutely.
I mean, it might be a bit hard. Don't trip over anything. We can't be held responsible for any of this. The paperwork's in the mail.
Yeah, all right. I'll flip that around. So this is a Monaro. It's basically all the good bits on it in there.
Hang on, I'm trying to... There you go.
Got
Sleeping dog
here. Sleeping dog. This is
what's the dog's name?
Owen. That's Owen.
Here you go. Owen meets Sparkplug.
Sparkplug. Bloody hell, have a look at him.
He's fairly chilled out.
Yeah, no, he's had a big day. We've been here all day pretty much. Went to the beach this morning and then been here all day. But this is the FG. It's pretty much a shell at the moment, but yeah.
So is that going back together or getting pulled apart?
Pulled apart, this one. So that's all the bits and pieces over there. This is what I've sort of started selling and all that sort of stuff on Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace. So and then I've got there's one F truck just out here. You probably can't see it. And then there's another one on the trailer outside there that I'm taking to the panel shop tomorrow.
Hey, Charlie, that FG looks like it's drift ready.
I know. I actually took...
Does it still run?
It still runs. It's very loud. It doesn't have the exhaust on it.
That would be terrible.
Did you want to just start it up?
Fire it up.
Well,
I don't think the dog will like it.
I don't reckon he will either. But, he'll be right. We'll just see what we can do here. Look out, mate.
I'm guessing your shed's in an industrial area.
It is, yeah.
Hey, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, so it's still quite loud. It's a bit.
Yeah, dog's going, fuck this.
Dog's gone. But I actually
Nice.
just for a little spin around the corner, and I just wanted to, just because I took it a spin up around the corner, and on my way back I started hearing sirens, and I turned around and it was the ambulance, and they were like playing funny buggers with me, and they scared the absolute crap out of me. Just flicked their lights on and sirens on, and then took off, and then turned them off, and I was just like, oh my God.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, mate, look, you certainly know your cars. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, you're only going to learn them more by pulling them apart, doing the way you're doing right now. And
Exactly.
mate, I certainly look forward to catching up at some stage, and maybe even taking you along to something like the Adelaide Auto Expo and showing you around there, and introducing to some of the network that Mark and I've got.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Mark, we need to go drifting with Charlie. We just do it. It's done. What do you reckon?
Well, I was just going to say, before we go, just for everyone else that's watching as well, so if you want to get onto YouTube now, so Charlie's channel there, basically just look up Charlie Dixon, go here, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell there so you get the notifications.
Hang on, it's Charlie G. Dixon, and I've been told the G stands for grrr. Is that right?
Well, you're just Charlie.
Exactly.
You're just Charlie Dixon on YouTube, though.
Just Charlie Dixon on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, not hard to find. You got the CB8 Monaro there, little turbo poking out there, and you got, what do we got? 1,600 subscribers. That's a pretty awesome start.
It's very cool.
So
Yeah, it's sort of ticking along, and I'm trying to get a video out a week while I'm sort of while we're in this crisis. So I'm trying to do that. But doing my best.
yeah, that's it. And I mean, yeah, it's a good time to make content too. I mean, Jason's probably been filming some stuff today. Myself, I stripped down a motorbike today and filmed it, and then did a time lapse of it going from a mostly complete bike to nothing on the floor with a whole bunch of coolant spilled everywhere. So, yeah.
Mark, I did some paving. I didn't work on the car. I did some paving. So
yeah, that's quite boring.
Very boring. But tomorrow we're going to chuck the engine in the back of this thing here, and we're going to start it up. So Tom and I will be out here doing those sort of bits and pieces. And that's awesome. The beauty about cars, Charlie. Without being rude to AFL, training is boring. You know it's boring. You can't make a video. But when it comes to cars, you've got a whole orchestra that you can just roll out and play and have as much fun as you possibly can.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So also, I was just gonna say, Charlie's got his lost my screen share here. Charlie's got his Facebook page too, which I'm just bringing up now. So there you go. Charlie Dixon's got the Monaro on there. So jump on there, hit the like button.
Thank you very much, guys.
Send him a message. Tell him how awesome he is.
Absolutely.
And on there, he's got links to videos and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it's good. I mean, I think just being an enthusiast and showing what you're up to, and people get to like, follow you and stuff like that. And no doubt you got plenty of footy fans as well that are watching you away from the field too. So
absolutely, especially with people not watching football now. I think they sort of jump on and they like seeing the sort of side other than me sort of screaming on a football field, really.
No, cool. All right. Well, it's been awesome having you on. I mean, obviously, with everything that's happening at the moment, we're not got our nice little cushy studio down at Pod Booth, but it's good that we've been able to do this, and we've got the technology too. So
absolutely. No, thanks for having me on.
Thanks
mate. I've had a blast.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And keep us posted with your updates, mate. And we'll share them on the HoonTV page.
Double thumbs up, Charlie. Great to meet you, mate. It's been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
And I can't wait for this all to over so I can go to the
and hey,
stapler.
hey, just Just quickly, guys, just quickly before we go to everybody else who's been watching as well and who is in lockdown and so forth, share your projects if you're out there. This is the time to show us what you're building and show us the the imagination you've got in your own garage. HoonTV and everything else in between is all that sort of bits and pieces. But please share your stuff with us. Show us what you got. Show us what you're building, because we live on it, don't we?
Absolutely.
I'm actually just going to show you a quick video, which is a good example of that. I mean, if people do want to send us stuff through HoonTV as a message, we're happy to share it. Like, we get some really cool stuff. Even the other day, if I can find it here, New Zealand, of all places.
Choice, bro.
We've got, hang on, I'm going to... deafening myself here with a... This is a dude from New Zealand here with a AU Falcon.
Oh, yeah. I know this one.
AU Falcon with a V6 Commodore engine in it.
Yeah.
It's the best of both worlds. and he's actually on a dairy farm as well, or something like that. So that's on private property out there ripping skids, and that's on the limiter. And he just a random message to the HoonTV page. He's like, "Oh, this is my AU Falcon." I'm like, "Sweet, send us some videos."
That is just outstanding. That is outstanding. You know what? We should give him an honorary Australian citizenship for that sort of combination of our cultural heritage. I think that is outstanding.
Absolutely.
That is outstanding. All right, guys. Well, listen, good to catch up with you both. We'll catch up with you very soon, Charlie. We'll make a date at the drifting when it opens up again, and we'll do a few other crazy bits and pieces and drag you along to have a bit of a giggle and a laugh as well.
Definitely, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Actually, and Mark, next time Port play at home, we need to go down with a big banner that says Charlie HoonTV loves you.
Absolutely. When we're back playing and we've got
right
crowds,
behind the goals.
I'll sort you guys out with tickets. We'll get you down.
HoonTV loves Charlie Dixon right behind the goals, all right?
I'll look forward to it. It'll be awesome.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Charlie.
Cheers, guys. No worries.
See ya.
See you, mate. Bye.
Get in, buckle up, and come for a ride with the Hoonatics. Cars, bikes, and anything else with an engine in it. Let's go.